on the circuit. So JMK is going to slow down as he comes across the Bosch Thermador start-finish line. Jimmy Shane is backing off the throttle a bit too. I know it's early to be claiming lanes. On the outside, here comes Eccles, bright orange boat across the start-finish and onto the front stretch, and he'll lead the other drivers into Agri-Service turn number 1.
I wonder if we'll see the 7 cut here, because he's the one that's kind of hanging back right now behind the 3 other boats. And I see him cut across here.
I think it's a little early. He could, but I'm not sure what it would do because we're just now inside 3 minutes.
Well, he was looking.
He was looking, and You know, as we always say, if you've got a real good maneuver to get lane 1, I'm not sure you want to use it in heat 1A. You may want to save that one for 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. This should be a very good heat on paper.
But he actually, I think he also saw that the 12 was too far along, that even if he had cut at that point, he was not going to beat the 12 back across. So he couldn't have claimed lane 1 anyway, so he thought the discretion was the better part of valor.
And just to mention to our fans, we're talking about cutting the race course, and that is a legal maneuver. You can cut from the back stretch to the front stretch at the west end of the race course. You can cut the course from the front stretch to the back stretch at the bottom end of the race course down toward the Blue Bridge.
So the boat's up at the top end of the course now, heading into the Freedom Equipment Rentals, turn number 3. You can see Graham
2 minutes.
trucking
2
on
minutes.
the inside with J. Michael Kelly, red boat. Then looks like lane number 2 is going to be Shane right now. On the outside, Eccles in the bright orange 440 bucket list. Then you've got Henderson back there in the 7. Boitano Holmes alongside the 11 with Jamie Nielsen. Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D Hydraulics. So right now it's JMK in lane number 1 heading across the start-finish line down to the front stretch. Eccles is going to pull even with him.
You were on a hunt for a display that would help you organize the meeting room booking chaos. But no cabling is available.
What's your time, Brad?
Well, right now it's 1:27, and I have an unofficial timing mark that says you do not want to be at this entrance buoy at 1:30. It's right now 1:20, so I think they're in pretty good shape. I don't expect anybody to move from right here, and if it stays this way, it's going to be Kelly in 1, Shane in 2. We'll see where, and there he goes.
He's cutting the course.
There he goes. I didn't think he was going to do it, but Bert said, I'm going to jump to the backstretch and get into lane 1. Watch the red boat coming over, Kevin.
Yeah, they're trying to get up there, and I don't know, the overlap could be an issue. It looks like he just made it.
He got there. He got plenty of time. That time he knew. He took the back front stretch a little bit faster, I believe, and was knew at that point he could cut across, and he does look like he has claimed lane 1, which moves Kelly out to 2, Shane out to 3, Eccles will be out in 4, and I believe Nilsson will be out in 5, who he's going to have to back off here so he can make sure he's not too early with that 5 after the clock that he needs to run.
30 seconds, Mike.
30 seconds to the start of Heat 1A, presented by CO Energy on News Radio 610 KONA, 610KONA.com, and all along the shoreline here of Columbia Park on the PA system. Glad you're along for the ride. This should be a dandy. So Henderson in lane number 1, Shane in lane number 2. Now check that. It's going to be J. Michael Kelly in lane number 2. Now we see Shane in lane number 3, Eccles in 4, and on the outside, it'll be Nielsen in the 11.
2, 1.
It's a clean start, and it's going to be Jimmy Shane that's going to take the lead away from J. Michael Kelly coming down the front stretch. Looks like he's not really hitting it too hard just yet. They're staying deck to deck down the front stretch.
Let's get this Half-O Columbia Cup started. Shane down here first with a couple of outlets, but he's on lane 3, Kevin.
And Kelly's going to beat him out of the turn, hopping a little bit. But now we get to the backstretch where speed will be Shane's weapon, and he has a lot of it.
Bert Henderson lost a lot of boat speed heading through Agri-Service turn 1 into Tire Factory turn number 2, and he is not a factor right now. It's a 2-boat race. Jimmy Shane on the outside, J. Michael Kelly on the inside in the Graham Trucking. So it's Home Street on the outside and Graham Trucking on the inside. Bert Henderson's trying to reel him back in, but he's got a long way to go. And Dustin Eccles might have a chance, actually, to get Henderson coming into turn number 3. Our Freedom Equipment Rentals, turn number 3. Exit pin at turn number 4 from Buffalo Brothers. It's Jimmy Shane. And Shane, I just feel like he's holding back. He's really not pressing that hard right now as he comes across for lap number 1 at the start-finish line. J. Michael Kelly is just inside the rooster tail. He's going to fall almost a rooster tail behind as they head to turn number 1.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Shane with about 3/4 of a rooster tail flying the boat coming down here. Remember, fans, we're running a Gold Cup format here, so we got 4-lap preliminary heats. This is lap number 2, Kevin.
Kelly bouncing out of the water, having to back off a little bit, so Shane's going to have a rooster tail lead as they head down to the backstretch. Kelly trying to reel him in on the inside. Here comes Henderson at a Tire Factory turn 2. Nielsen trying to reel it. He's bouncing through some rollers as he's trying to catch Eccles for 4th.
Yeah, and watch that 5th place boat. Jamie Nielsen may have a chance to catch Eccles. Just when we thought Eccles might have that opportunity to get up and get into 3rd place and beat Henderson down that front stretch. Top end of the course. On the outside, Jimmy Shane in the home street with the lead. But a really nice turn this time for J. Michael Kelly, but he's going to be about a half a rooster tail behind at the exit pin of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Coming over the Bosch Thermidor applied start-finish line. It's nearly a rooster tail lead now for Jimmy Shane after the completion of lap number 2. Ooh, big waves up in the top end of the course. Boat's getting loose. Looked like Nielsen is going to go off the plane, and he lost power, and he may have gone through the wake of Eccles, or it could have been Henderson's wake. It was really rough.
Kevin.
It is rough out there right now. The boats are bouncing around. Shane, though, looking really strong, keeping that rooster tail lead over Kelly as they head down the backstretch.
J. Michael Kelly, he's inside the rooster tail, but that speed by Jimmy Shane on the outside. He's got the momentum right now in a really smooth-looking ride. Third place is Henderson. Fourth place is Eccles. Again, Nielsen dead in the water in Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Shouldn't be a factor. He tried to edge out towards the shoreline. Top end of the course. Inside the rooster tail now, it's J. Michael Kelly and the Graham Trucking and the 12 on the inside. On the outside, Shane in the home street, 6 off the exit pin of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, and coming across the start-finish line here for Bosch Thermidor Appliances. White flag is out, and it's a half a rooster tail lead now for Jimmy Shane coming down the front stretch in the home street.
Boy, and he's flying. A lot of air underneath it, but he's got a left side mirror that is full of red and black and silver. JMK is not going away, Kevin.
He is not, but he can't get within that rooster tail. So the good news for Kelly is he's able to keep this rooster tail leg. The bad news is he's not able to eat into it as Shane takes the lead down the backstretch.
Jimmy Shane with a full rooster tail lead now coming up the backstretch. Final lap, Heat 1A, brought to you by Connell Oil, CO Energy. Up the backstretch, it's just over a rooster tail lead, and J. Michael Kelly's really going to have to nail this corner, and something's going to happen. If something were to happen to Jimmy Shane, he may have the opportunity, but still, you've got the whole front stretch to the Bosch Thermidor Appliance start-finish line that Jimmy Shane could pull away again. It is a close race, about a half a rooster tail lead now for Jimmy Shane in the home street. The 6 is going to take the checkered flag.
Eccles nearly caught a rollover here and went out.
He sure did. Boy, he dropped that right sponson in a hole, and how he did not spin it out, I do not know.
It was great boat control, able to get under power and get back on it. So he'll end up finishing 4th with the 7 finishing in 3rd, and Bert Henderson.
Yeah, 2nd place, J. Michael Kelly. The 1st place will go to Jimmy Shane in the home street. 3rd place, Bert Henderson. And Dustin Eccles will hold on for 4th place, but there was some wild racing out there. It was unbelievable. CO Energy bringing you Heat 1A. So back at the pits, we'll have an opportunity to hear from our drivers. Now, the good news is the 11, J&D, is back up on plane. So it wasn't apparently any type of mechanical issue, but instead traveling through the wake of one of the boats in front and to the side that caused him to cut power. Jamie Nielsen cut power and drifted out off the course to stay out of the way in Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. You out of the water. All swimmers back to the shore, please. Kevin. Oh, there he is.
And that 99.9 has the same paint scheme that Perkins used to drive in the 21 boat. But when we see the 99.9, I'm used to that black and red and white with the missed rock. So it's a boat that looks familiar, but the number has changed.
Yeah, it's the same race team, still Go Fast Turn Left Racing, so that's why it's got that same color scheme. But when they go to Seattle, they're going to have some more black and red on the boat, and will be that KISW rock, and so they're running with the 99.9 number. 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Jeff Bernard down here. He is on the inside in the Oberto. Just outside of him is Jimmy King driving the Griggs Presents Ace Hardware. Kevin, right in front of you.
They are, and Andrew Tate has hit the gas to try to catch them, because right now it's the 1918 in lane 1. Jimmy King will be in lane 2, and Tate is going to have to try to win this out of lane 3 from the outside. So we'll see. There's lots of time left to maneuver and find your spot. But for right now, that Oberto boat, that beautiful white, green, and red boat on the inside.
At least for now.
225, Michael.
It's all subject to change. Jimmy King Heading up that top end of the course into Freedom Equipment Rentals, turn number 3. Let's see if everybody holds or if anybody cuts across. I don't see anybody cutting across now. So it will be King that will lead the drivers into Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And he left plenty of room on the inside for both Tate
2 minutes
and Bernard. So across the Bosch Thermador Appliance start finish line, Jimmy King will watch the other racers. Bernard in 1. You've got Tate in 2. Perkins on the outside. And he probably has a little question in his mind, at least, about that safety hatch, although it's been inspected on how it's going to hold up for him. Peabody's going to be setting up in lane 4. I don't know where Jimmy King's going to end up, guys.
He's going to have to cut the race course because he got down here about 1:40. We're now at 1:25. He's going to cut the course, but he's got to go up to the top end to do it.
Yeah, he got down here way out front of the pack, which means he'll likely be way outside as well as he tries to see what his boat has against some of the best boats on the H1 Unlimited circuit.
Yeah, so across the ESCO electric infield, Jimmy King.
Watch King.
In the Griggs, onto the front stretch.
And it does look like it'll be the 1918 in 1, the 1 in 2, the 98 in 3, and the 99-9, at least for right now, in 4.
So Jimmy King's got to catch those boats coming up the back stretch. He's at full throttle in the 3.
Not cut the course.
50.
He is not cutting the course. He decided to go a different tack and essentially just run full bore the entire length.
Oh, what a place to watch.
Yeah, Bernard in lane number 1, Tate in lane number 2.
I'll tell you what, though, if he can keep this up, if he times this right, he will be the fastest boat at the start finish.
Where's he going to end up, Kevin?
Looks like 2.
He's zooming up, and he wants to take lane 2.
Lane 2 or 3, I think. I think he's in 3.
Yeah, but he jumped over to lane 3, just outside of Tate.
15 seconds.
So Bernard on the inside in the Alberto. Oh, boy, the sun glints off that
10.
metallic paint. Tate in 2, King in 3.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark.
It's a clean start on the outside. Perkins with boat speed and momentum. Peabody's fallen back a little bit in the 98. But coming down the front stretch to Brad Luce.
And first of all, the start has been ruled legal. It's a good start. Tate down here first from lane 2, but he's got King right with him, and Bernard on the inside.
They're bouncing off the rough water. Can the 1918 catch on the inside of Tate? He has got a ton of boat speed.
Oh, Bernard had a great turn. Jeff Bernard had a fantastic turn in the 1918 Obordo Super Salami. Tate's pulling away on that back stretch. Jimmy King is holding with the pack, though. He's on the outside coming up that back stretch, and he's pretty much even right now with Bernard in the Obordo. Your race leader by a half a rooster tail now is the Delta Reel Track, the one with Andrew Tate, heading into Freedom Equipment Rentals turn number 3 and over to Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Water looks pretty smooth, at least for right now, and it's Tate with the lead. And then that battle for second place is deck to deck. Now that we can see Jimmy King, he is dead even with Jeff Bernard in the Oberto as they come across the start-finish line. It's going to be Jimmy King edging Bernard for second place coming down the front stretch. Your race leader is Tate.
Tate, our defending Half-O Columbia Cup champion, going to get down here first with about a rooster tail on the field. And right now that second place is King. But watch Bernard on this short course, Kevin.
Oh, they are bouncing around out there, and King goes into the wash of the 1 and has to back out, but still a lot of power, and he has the lead down the backstretch over the 1918 for second.
Yeah, second place battle is a good one between King on the outside, Bernard on the inside. Bernard's going to have that short course around the top end of the course, and he'll have a chance to pull even with King again. But even though King went through that rough water, Kevin, he's doing extremely good heading up the backstretch.
I do not know how he kept that thing going with the pace that he did, but he essentially was just right through the rooster tail of the 1, and he came out of it somehow still ahead of the 1918.
Tate comes out of the exit pin of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. He's got the lead. Jimmy King is trying to challenge him down the front stretch. He's pulling up to that end of the rooster tail and trying to eat into the lead a little bit, but I don't know if he can get there. Bernard has fallen back, but holds on to third place right now. Watch Jimmy King in Agri-Service turn number 1.
Yeah, he's definitely made up some ground on Andrew Tate. Andrew knows he's there. Bernard has fallen off the pace after taking a big hop at the top of the race course, Kevin.
Yeah, Tate has sort of settled that boat a little bit. Not quite as rough going through Tire Factory turn 2. Jimmy King trying to use all that piston power down the backstretch to see if he can catch the 1.
Yeah, Tate has started to pull away. Coming down the backstretch, he's got that full rooster tail lead over Jimmy King, but what a great performance by the Turbinator. Great job by Jimmy King, even through that rough water. Watch him come into turn number 3. Sun has gone behind a cloud, kind of a little bit darker, not as brilliant outside on the Columbia River course right now. Exit pin of that turn number 4. It's going to be Tate with the lead by the full rooster tail. Jimmy King on the outside just comes clear of that exit pin, and they'll come across the Bosch Thermador appliance start-finish line. And it's a rooster tail lead now for Tate. King's trying to get to him, but he just can't get there.
Boy, Andrew Tate got a lot of air underneath that boat. Still got the full rooster tail. I actually thought Jimmy King would have let him go by now. But Kevin, he is still charging on the outside.
Oh, boy, the 3, the power of the 3. Still showing Tate, though, with a short way around the course, able to get that lead back to a rooster tail. But King trying to catch him out the back stretch.
Benefit of the inside lane for Andrew Tate. And is he holding back a little, maybe, Kevin?
You know, this last couple times down here, it has definitely been a little more on the water than he was the first 2 laps. So I'm wondering if he's trying to settle it down to deal with this rough water.
All right, white flag is out. Checkered flag is waiting. The boat drivers right now to complete the final lap of Heat 1B. Brought to you by Arizona Mobile. And it's going to be Andrew Tate in the 1. Delta Real Track just onto the front stretch now to the Bosch Thermador appliance to start-finish line. He's got a little layer underneath that boat as it comes across and takes the checkered flag. Jimmy King, what a great run in the Turbinator for 2nd place. 3rd place out on the course will be the beautiful 1918 Oberto Super Salami with Jeff Bernard. Brian Perkins will end up in 4th. And a nice job also out on the course for Corey Peabody in the 98, who's just into turn number 4 now at the exit pin. But Perkins, questions answered. That crew did a great job to make sure that that hatch was, well, retooled so that it would fit. That was not an easy job.
No, it wasn't. And so the tip of the cap to those guys. But I'll tell you what, I didn't see that coming. Did anybody see King running that hard and sticking with Andrew? I would have.
He didn't give up.
I would have put another one of those nickels of mine that Bernard might have been the second boat in that field. But boy, did he get handled on the outside by Jimmy King and piston power. That's the best we've seen that boat run here since the 2017 final heat. That was.
Points recap coming up at the conclusion of our broadcast just before the Hydro Race wrap-up show. Thanks to Perfection Miller Paint. They have over 130 years experience in making paint for the Northwest with everyday value, pricing, and quality. Made here for here, it's Perfection Miller Paint. 88 degrees, winds are at 13 miles per hour out of the southwest at the Pasco Tri-Cities Airport. Our high expected today at 89, just 81 degrees for tomorrow.
And the 12 is on the water.
Our weather updates from Anderson Dental. Nearly 2 decades in South Kennewick, creating and saving smiles. They're online at KennewickSmiles.com. All right, boat race fans are smiling now because we are back to racing action. The Graham Trucking, the 12, is heading up the back stretch with J. Michael Kelly.
Yep, there goes the 6 on the back stretch, and 98 also on the back stretch. The Alberto, the 1918, also making its way onto the course. And then our final boat is at the 99.9, also out on the water. So 5 boats in, 5 boats on the water, well, full field.
And how about Brian Perkins' crew? One of the groups that were really scrambling to get that escape hatch fashioned so it would actually fit after they lost the hatch yesterday in the river. All right, out of turn number 4 onto the front stretch. And the parade lap for Graham Trucking, the 12, with J. Michael Kelly. Coming across the Bosch Thermador appliance start-finish line now. Then you've got Jimmy Shane in the 6th, the home street, up on the front stretch and across start-finish now. American Dream, that's a beautiful boat, the 98 Graham Trucking, their second entry here with Corey Peabody along the start-finish line now. The Alberto 1918, Bernard, Jeff Bernard on the inside. On the outside, Brian Perkins.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Well, there you are, Brad.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. We had a little delay getting the timing here, and my watch is off. But it's off by a square minute, so I think I can handle this.
It's all about the countdown.
High-end math up here.
By the way, they've actually taken the Hops boat all the other side of the Blue Bridge to keep it out of the way of the hydros.
Okay, so they'll bring it back to the docks for extrication a little bit later.
Yep. 2:30. 2:30 to the start.
Well, we got a group of 2 and a group of 3 out there with Kelly and Shane up front. The 1918, the 98, and the 99.9, all kind of their own group back there.
And it makes you wonder what the drivers are, what's going through their mind right now. Of course, J. Michael Kelly's thinking, oh, I got lane 1.
Yeah. But that won't stop him from cutting the course somewhere.
Or somebody. Oh, here we go. Cutting across the Alberto. Super Salami, Jeff Bernard. And Bernard's going to slide into lane number 1 on the front stretch.
2 minutes.
So that may push out JMK. Let's see what Jimmy Shane does coming down the front stretch. Oh, a little bit of a washdown. He had to go through the wake and a little bit of the rooster tail. J. Michael Kelly, Jimmy Shane was out in front of him.
But I wonder if JMK is going nice and slow right now because he has a plan to cut here. But that might, I don't know if it's too early, though. That's the question. Is it too early to cut? Because he is way off.
1:30. I don't like being down here at 1:30, and I got a couple of them.
That's early.
There goes Mike.
There goes J-Mike. He took almost the entire...
He's going to be early.
Yeah, that may not be the best of moves to cut across the ESCO Electric infield at this point. Yeah, the other boats are hitting it now.
Yeah, he's got to have to keep an eye on that strobe light up top. If it starts blinking, he's under 80 miles an hour. But they're all down together.
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute to start. Heat 2B, El Pueblo Market. And I guess it will be J. Michael Kelly in lane number 1. It looks like Jimmy Shane will be in lane number 2. Then the Alberto, Jeff Bernard in lane number 3, or it might be Bernard in 2 and Shane in 3. We'll wait until they come around the top end of the course to set that as they start to go into Freedom Equipment Rental turn number 3 and over to Buffalo Brothers turn number 4.
Michael, 30 seconds, and you got a warning on the 1918. Speed warning.
All right, so the Alberto needs to pick up the pace a little bit, and it's all about that timing to the Bosch Thermador appliance start-finish line.
I'd be sure.
J. Michael
15.
Kelly in lane 1, Shane in lane number 2, Bernard in 3. Then you've got, let's see, Peabody in lane 4, and lane 5 is Brian Perkins.
3, 2, 1, mark.
So the leader coming on the outside is going to be Perkins on the inside. Extremely slow start for both of the inside boats. And it's kind of strange that Jimmy Shane is holding back coming down that front stretch a little bit. J. Michael Kelly on the inside.
Actually, Shane got down here first, but he only had about a boat like on Kelly on the inside. Kevin!
Yeah, they got it in as Kelly and Shane right there, neck to neck on the inside. The Alberts are out in lane 3 going fine. Perkins on the outside, lane 5 and 4th.
JMK in lane number 1. He's on the inside, and he's about 2 boat lengths behind Jimmy Shane, heading up the back stretch. Lap number 1, El Pueblo Markets Heat 2A. 4 laps in this prelim heat. The Alberto with Bernard has fallen back a rooster tail behind the 2 boats that are out in front. Let's see what Jimmy Shane does in turn number 4. A beautiful turn for Jimmy Shane. He's actually on the outside of J. Michael Kelly, and he's going to take the lead in the 6th. The Home Street Bank coming across the start-finish line now. No speeds given. 3rd place is Jeff Bernard. Your 2nd place boat is inside the rooster tail now and trying to gain on Jimmy Shane. That's J. Michael Kelly coming into Agri-Service turn number 1.
Yeah, he's staying pretty tight with him. He's back about 4 boat lengths. Kevin, you got a better view.
Absolutely, and Shane is able to keep the lead, but Kelly got up to the back cowling, and now he's about a half a rooster tail back as Shane goes up the back stretch.
J. Michael Kelly got some air coming out of the exit pin of Tire Factory turn number 2. He's coming up the back stretch, and he's a half a rooster tail behind Jimmy Shane now. Back another almost 2 rooster tails is Jeff Bernard. 3rd place, Brian Perkins.
The 3rd place should be Bernard.
Correct. back. Bernard in third. Fourth place would be Brian Perkins, and fifth out there is the Graham Trucking American Dream of Corey Peabody, just coming up the back stretch.
Who's hitting a lot of rough water following these guys around.
There is plenty of rough water to go around. Exit pit turn number 4. And onto the front stretch, Jimmy Shane. And it's still that half a rooster tail lead for Jimmy Shane over J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking. Third place, Bernard across the start-finish line now. He's 2 rooster tails back.
Yeah, coming down here again, Shane has opened up some water. Guys, the start was good. The start was legal. Everybody's on the right lap, but it's still Shane by about 3/4 of a rooster tail, Kevin.
And he's given the room to Kelly, but he can't make up the space, the 12. So it looks like Shane's going to keep that rooster tail, then expand it as he exits turn 2, going down the backstretch.
So just over a rooster tail lead now for Jimmy Shane. Coming up the back stretch into Freedom Equipment Rentals turn number 3 and Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And J. Michael Kelly on the inside, but he has not enough under the cowling to catch up with Jimmy Shane in the home street. Back another 2 rooster tails is Bernard in third in the Oberto Super Salami. Perkins is on the back stretch now, about midway point, and then just coming out of turn number 2 and up the back stretch, Corey Peabody's now at the midpoint of that back stretch. So they're all spread out across the race course right now, and now over a 2 rooster tail lead for Jimmy Shane heading into Agri-Service turn number 1.
Shane's coming down here, got the big lead. I think J. Michael Kelly has said, all right, I'll give you this one. I ran you hard for a couple. Kevin, bring him through the lower corner last time.
Shane looks so smooth on the water. What I'm trying to keep an eye on, though, is that 12 giving up a little too much. The 19-18 might be gaining a little bit on Kelly, but Bernard going out way wide. So it'll be Shane, Kelly, Bernard, 1, 2, 3.
White flag is out. Heat 2A brought to you by Pueblo Market. Jimmy Shane in the 6th, the home street. Flexing muscle and showing that they have some winning to do here on the Columbia River course. Last year, it didn't go their way. This year, it's been a pretty good start so far. At the exit pit of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4 comes out a little bit wide. Good photo op for the Buffalo Brothers fans, and walks the sponson. Catch a little air coming across the Bosch Thermador Appliance start-finish line for the checkered flag in Heat 2A. Second place, J. Michael Kelly in the 12, the Graham Trucking. Third place boat will be the 1918 Oberto, just onto the front stretch, and a good run, solid run by Jeff Bernard. Brian Perkins is just coming out of turn number 4 onto the front stretch. And he'll end up taking 4th place, and our 5th place boat, Corey Peabody, in the 98 Graham Trucking, just at the exit pit now of Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. And he'll come across the Bosch Thermador Appliance start-finish line now for that 5th place finish. Checking out some of the lap speeds, didn't seem to be rivaling the earlier heat. Looks like the top speed is 149 miles per hour. That was by Jimmy Shane in lap number 3. No, it would have been lap number 3 for the 6. 149 miles per hour was your fastest lap in competition out there for Heat 2A. So Jimmy Shane in the 6 gets the victory. DMZ sponsor on our coverage on News Radio 610 KONA is ESCO Electric of the Tri-Cities, and we saw that maneuver for J. Michael Kelly cutting through the infield to the backstretch to claim lane number 1, but it wouldn't be enough to get the victory. Special thanks to our friends at All Doors Incorporated for service, repair, and installation of all automatic and manual entry systems. All Doors Incorporated, 547-2158. They'll fix it right the first time if you have a spring sprung on your garage door. All Doors Incorporated. Also thanks to Jiffy Car Wash. Monthly passes, unlimited washes, a full month are available for you.
Blue Angels are getting ready to take off. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the need for speed. Can't wait for the Blue Angels, their final show of this Seafair weekend. I'm Angela Russell. Steve Rabel's going to take a little break, but stepping in, the capable hands of Lieutenant Commander Todd Royals with the Blue Angels. Thanks so much for coming back. This is your second year doing this, right?
It is, second and final year, but I'm glad to be back, and this, without a doubt, is one of the highlights of our season, coming up here to Seattle for Seafair, so we could not be more excited to be here with you guys right now.
Okay, so for those who and as Van Albert finishes up together, the Jets there from Boeing Field. So what happens? Take us inside what happens when the routine before they actually get on board and get ready to take off for a show. What's the routine like?
You know, we show up to the airfield about 2 hours prior to our takeoff time, go into the briefing room, kind of sequestered, and just get into that mental bubble of going out there and putting on a safe demonstration. 1 hour prior to our takeoff time is when the brief will actually take place, and Captain McWhirter will walk the 6 demonstration pilots through the entire routine. They'll actually go over the communications, the radio calls, the stick and throttle movements, so they visualize themselves in that demonstration inside the jet with their eyes closed, so that way when they come out and do it for real, it's down to that muscle memory.
And you have to go over it because the weather could change, and
absolutely,
the routine could change depending on what the weather does.
Like I said, that was one of the topics of conversation last year was, oh, you know, there's some clouds out there. What kind of show are you guys going to do? People don't realize we actually have 5 variations of our show. We have a high show, which needs about 10,000 feet of clear air. We've got a low show, which needs about 5,000. And then we've got 3 variations of our flat show. But I'll tell you right now, there is no doubt in anyone's mind what show is going to be going on today.
Right.
We could not be more happy.
Now, are there ever any considerations when the weather is hot like this? I mean,
so much here in Seattle.
For the pilots, it has to be really.
You know, our big concern, yeah, it's hot for the pilots. When they close the canopies, there's an environmental conditioning system and air conditioning in the jet. It is still hot, demanding on them. They stay hydrated. More importantly, we're worried about our maintainers out there at Boeing Field. They're out there all day preparing those jets, as well as the spectators. You know, most folks aren't accustomed to this type of heat. They come out and they want to spend all day out on the water and watch the Blue Angels. And, you know, if one person gets hurt because they didn't protect themselves from the heat or sun, then then that's a sad thing. So we want to make sure that everybody stays protected, but is still able to enjoy a dramatic demonstration. And there they go. There go 1 through 4. And then a couple seconds later, you'll see Blue Angels 5 and 6 take off behind them. They'll take off to the northwest, and we'll rendezvous into the Delta formation.
All right, it won't be long until the show begins, so stay with us. The Blue Angels Air Show coming up next. Introduce us to the team really quick.
Okay, well, actually exiting right now, you've got our 3 C-130 pilots. You've got Captain Ben Blanton from Ventura, California. You've got Captain John Hecker from Huntsville, Alabama. And then 2 of them are flying right now. And then our 3rd one is actually in the tower over at Boeing Field, making sure that they launch and recover. Captain A.J. Harrell from Frederick, Maryland. Just getting airborne now is the 6 F-18 pilots, the Delta. You've got Captain Greg McWhirter in Blue Angel number 1. He's the flight leader and commanding officer from Atlanta, Georgia. And as we said, he's on his 4th year on the team, and he'll be leaving at the end of this season. Blue Angel number 2 is Lieutenant John Hiltz. He's on his 1st year on the team. He's the right wingman from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. Blue Angel number 3 is one of the Marine Corps representatives in the Delta formation. He's from Hemet, California, Captain Brandon Cordill on the left wing. Blue Angel number 4 is the other Marine Corps representative in the Delta formation from Knoxville, Tennessee, the slot pilot and airborne safety observer, Major Brent Stevens. In his 3rd year on the team is Blue Angel number 5, Lieutenant C.J. Simonson from Coon Rapids, Minnesota. He's the opposing solo. He's also the operations officer, and then 2 years ago he was Blue Angel number 7, the narrator. Last year he was Blue Angel number 6, the opposing solo, and then he's moved up to Blue Angel number 5, the lead solo. And then in his 2nd year on the team is Blue Angel number 6, who was last year's narrator, Lieutenant Dave Tickle from Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, he gave me the ride last year.
He did.
Lieutenant Tickle,
he was our advanced pilot and performs all of our media and VIP rides.
Okay, awesome. And the person doing the narration today?
And out there is Blue Angel number 7, Lieutenant Mark Tedrow. He'll move into the Delta formation next year. He's from Charleroi, Pennsylvania, so his 1st year on the team. And then we've got the rest of our support officers out here. We've got Lieutenant Scott Adams from Omaha, Nebraska. He's taken over my role during the demonstration of helping out the narrator. And then we've got our administrative officer, Lieutenant Holly Taylor, over there with the air boss, making sure that we've got the sanitized TFR and the aerobatic box out there on the water is clear of boats. And then out there on the log boom, we've also got our ground safety observers, our flight surgeon, Lieutenant Jason Smith, and Lieutenant Commander Rich Mercado, who is our maintenance officer, as well as our public affairs officer, Lieutenant Katie Kelly.
What a team. Obviously, you see the pilots, you see you, but there's so many more people who go into putting on a show. And how many total would you say travel?
We have 130 team members on the Blue Angels, and people don't realize that. They think of the Blue Angels, they think of 1 through 6, and that's it. They see a number 8 on a blue flight suit, and some kids that they don't realize how many officers are on the team. There's no number 8 jet. Who are you? You must be one of the backups. So I said, there's a lot of effort that goes into having those 6 pilots get airborne every weekend from March until November, and really safely all around the country.
And really, there are no backups, right?
There
if
are
someone
no backup
is sick,
pilots.
It's just.
Then we'll fly with whatever pilot is sick or injured. He won't fly that day, but if Captain McWhorter gets hurt or sick, no one will go fly. So.
All right,
and there they are. They've separated into the diamond and solos. So here come Blue Angel 5 and 6, and it's about to get pretty loud right overhead.
Okay, brace yourself. We're gonna have some fun.
We will.
Let's do it. And that's one of the solo pilots,
That was Blue Angel number 5. This is called the opposing 360. So as I said, because this is a remote show where the demonstration doesn't start from the airport, it starts airborne in front of the crowd. They'll transit into the aerobatic box as a 6-plane, and then they separate. And then for about the next 30 minutes, they'll do individual solo and diamond maneuvering. For the last 15 minutes of the demonstration, they'll join back up into the Delta formation and show you the precision of 6 F-18s all flying in one formation aerobatically.
And the solo pilot, like the one you're seeing here, they really have a rough ride. I mean,
it is violent. Absolutely.
One.
I'm fortunate enough to come from the 2-seat F-18 community. I get to sit in the back as a weapons system officer, but that solo ride is violent. So here comes that trademark diamond formation of the Blue Angel 1 through 4. It's 18-inch wingtip to canopy separation. So if you see the left wingman there, his canopy looks like it's sitting right under the wing. No kidding, it is. It's 18 inches. And then you see Blue Angel number 4 tucked up into the slot there, right underneath the wings of Blue Angels 2 and 3. So. And
are the pilots, when they're flying this close together, are they just hitting certain markers, or are they actually doing a visual check?
They're doing visual checks. There are certain paint scheme marks on the aircraft that they're looking to line up appropriately so that they know they're in the correct position. So they'll fly different checkpoints. They'll come back, watch it on video, give themselves an honest assessment. Were you really flying the checkpoints the way you're supposed to? How does it look on video? Yeah, you know what? I need to try harder tomorrow. We'll make it much better. Now here comes the signature move of the solo pilots, the opposing knife edge pass. They're going to roll into an angle of bank and pass each other about 50 feet on this maneuver. Canopy to canopy, you take a still shot. It looks like the 2 jets are connected by the nose.
Let's see it.
Oh, and there it was. So you can't blink, or you're going to miss it.
Right.
Do not blink. Fantastic.
What's so great about this year, seeing this high show from the beginning, they're much easier to spot, and it really is great.
Yeah, the clear blue background of that cloudless sky. We've got tremendous smoke oil that is a paraffin-based biodegradable smoke. Not only is it aesthetically pleasing for the demonstration, it helps the folks look out and they can pick up the jets easily. More importantly, it's a safety factor for the aircraft. You can see that blue paint job on a blue sky doing 400 miles an hour, 3 miles away from each other, and those solos have to pass very close to each other to make the maneuver look the way it's intended. So that smoke helps them to pick each other up visually as well.
All right, they are climbing high above Lake Washington now. What are they getting ready to do?
That is what's known as the diamond roll. So again, all 3 aircraft rolling as one in a graceful rolling maneuver. And as they clear the flight line, in come the solos. So that was one of the goals this year, is to, we don't want any dead time during the demonstration. We want it to be 45 minutes of action-packed, entertainment, demonstrating the pride, professionalism, and precision of this team. So as soon as the diamond exits the flight line, in come the solos for their next maneuver. So this is the opposing inverted to inverted pass. They're going to roll upside down, push negative 1G right there. They're going to cross with a 360-degree aileron roll, and now they're going to do a negative 3G push as they climb away from the ground and exit the show line. That is the most painful maneuver that the solos do, without a doubt. It doesn't. That's the thing. The ones that look the most painful, really, it's just some quick wing snaps. But that negative G, and you see some of the best civilian performers out here: Sean D. Tucker, Kirby Shambly. those guys put themselves through just as much of a ringer in those little aircraft.
And when you say negative G, what does that mean?
Well, we're sitting here at 1G, one positive G. The force of gravity is pulling everything down towards the ground and through the Z-axis of our body. I'm sorry, the Y-axis. But if you roll inverted and push away, all that blood is trying to go to your head, which is negative G forces against your body. This is the diamond aileron roll. All 4 of them will roll simultaneously away from each other and then join back up into the diamond formation.
That's your 5-minute gun. Now it's time to go boat racing. Here's who will be racing in Heat 1A, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Seafair thanks Home Street Boat, proud sponsor of the Home Street Bank Cup. To start Heat 1A is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that all for your safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to go out on the water. Get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 1A, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Now to call Heat 1A is Brad Luce and Nate Brown.
Thank you very much, Kay. As you'll see, all the boats are up and running. They're away from the dock. It's really great to see the 11 out there. Got on a plane. Their fuel control issues hopefully will subside for this heat.
And Nate, we are 3 minutes and 45 seconds to the start, 3:45. Now, for those of you who have not seen this before, our start procedure is a little unique. That's one of the special features of unlimited hydroplane racing. You got a bit of a taste of it with our E350 class, but it is all on a clock start. And we're 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from that start. Our drivers can cut the race course from the front to the back at the lower end of the race course. Thank you, J. Michael Kelly, for giving a perfect example of how you can cut the race course. You can cut the race course from the back stretch to the front stretch up at the north end or the top end of the race course. So this is what we call the milling period, Nate Brown. What are these drivers trying to do?
They're trying to see where they're on the course. They're looking at their timing marks they have, if they're in the right spot at the right time. They also are relying on their radio guys to tell them where the other guys are on the course too as well, because if you turn too soon, you kind of leave that lane open for another guy to be able to snap it from you. So what you want to do is you're trying to do the best you can to do your strategy you had beforehand, but that can be taken away from you. So good drivers, all these guys have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different strategies all in their pocket in case something happens.
In other words, the best laid plans sometimes go awry. Let's take one more look at the boats that'll be here in our Heat 1A, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. The U11 J&Ds, presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. That is the bright chartreuse and carnival orange hydroplane. Halfway up the backstretch, it is driven by Jamie Nielsen. The all-white boat that is just now exiting the lower corner and starting up the backstretch, Delta Reel Track. Boat number 1, defending Seafair champion. That is Andrew Tate, who just cut the race course. That is J. Michael Kelly, and he put himself on the inside of Andrew Tate. That's a little bit of the maneuvering we see in the milling period. Nate, that's what you were talking about.
Both those guys were smashing the gas or trying to get up to that 2 straightaway buoy thing, because J. Michael Kelly did not have a lane established until he passes 2 straightaway buoys. So the first buoy he passed, Andrew Tate could have dove right down in front of him. I mean, literally right in front of him, but he didn't need to because JMK had the throttle smashed and he got past the 2 straightaway buoys to establish that lane.
Great example there of cutting the race course to get lane position. Our 4th boat and rounding out our field is coming down to the lower corner right now. It is the all-red U7 Boitano Homes, driven by Bert Henderson out of Brockville, Ontario, Canada. Nielsen, Tate, Kelly, and Henderson. Minute 20. Minute 20. I don't know if you want to be down here as early as JMK is in the black and red boat, because the other part of the procedure, Nate, you cannot drop below 80 miles an hour. And if they do, they will get a warning from the referees. If they drop below 80 again, it is a penalty. So you can't get up to the top end of the course too early, and we got two of them up there bright and early, Nate.
I think they'll make it, but it's going to be tight. They're not going to have a flying start.
50 seconds to the start. So now we'll have to keep an eye on things to see if Henderson is inside Nielsen right now, and I think they are sitting in lanes 1 and 2. And if that's the case, Kelly, the third boat going up the backstretch with 35 seconds, Kelly will be in 3, and that would put Andrew Tate on the far outside. We've had a warning on Bert Henderson and a warning on Jamie Nielsen, the first two boats up there, and that is a speed warning. They've got to pick it up. One more warning, and it's not a warning, it's a penalty. Coming up on 15 seconds. 15 seconds to the start off the top end of the course, and it's going to be Henderson in 1. It's going to be Kelly in 2. It's going to be Tate in 3 and Nielsen on the outside. We're 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark. And exactly what you said, Nate Brown. There was no speed out there for Bert Henderson in lane 1. Nice start for Nielsen on the outside. It is a good start. It's clean. 4 of them down to the corner. Now we'll see who gets out of that first turn first. Gonna be J. Michael Kelly. And you can see the rooster tail on the outside. That's gonna be Andrew Tate. You've got 3 of them there that are running very close together up the backstretch. Nate, they're running right into that stiff breeze, and they're feeling it.
They're flying that wing. You can see it on the monitor here, but they're really flying that wing. Great boat race right now.
And you see Bert Henderson is back in 4th place. That's because he didn't bring any speed to the start-finish line. Remember, we're going to go 3 times around. J. Michael Kelly.
Oh, looks like somebody got wet here.
Oh, and that is Andrew Tate. He got wet coming out of that corner up there, and it's cost him some speed. Now it's J. Michael Kelly with 1 in the book and 2 more to go. Kelly's got about a rooster tail on the field. Kelly down to the corner first, and the Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing. But what a race for second place. Nielsen had fuel flow problems. Seems to have them ironed out. And I'll tell you what, Andrew Tate still has got ideas about going after Kelly. But Nate Brown, he better keep an eye on his right side rear view mirror. He's got company in Jamie Nielsen.
No, he sure does. He's got a radio guy right there telling him the same thing, going push it, push it, push it, push it, because he's right there ready to grab any mistake. Like that last lap where he got wet. I don't know if J. Michael pushed out or he kind of got caught in the spray, but either way, it slowed him down a bunch. But it's a great boat race. Let's spread it out a little bit right now.
And we do have from the officials a 1-minute warning on the boat in 4th place, the 7, Bert Henderson. It was an 80-mile-an-hour warning, and he got the penalty for doing it twice. That's what can happen when you get up there too early. Kelly down here on lap number 3. This is the final lap. We go 3 times around. Andrew Tate has recovered from Deaconette Bath at the top end of the race course on lap number 1. And now it looks like Jamie Nielsen has said, all right, I'll take my 3rd place points and I'll come home in 3rd. But right now looking really strong. J. Michael Kelly, Nate, looking good up the backstretch.
Yeah, he smashed the gas. It looks great. And I got to hand it to the 11 team, too. They're right in there as well. And he's settling back right now, saving the equipment. But he knows what he's got for a boat now. He knows what he has. Now he can go race his part.
Absolutely. So coming off the top end of the race course, J. Michael Kelly's going to swing out a little bit wide. He will look to his right and to his left. He will see the checkered flag in any form of motorsports racing. That is the goal, is a checkered flag. J. Michael Kelly flies. The U12 Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing, home of the first place finish unofficially in our Heat 1A. Andrew Tate will come home in 2nd place, driving the 1, the Delta Reel Track. And as you said, Nate, great news for Jamie Nielsen driving the 11, the J&Ds presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. Hopefully the fuel flow issue is in the rearview mirror. A solid 3rd place finish. Bert will come home in 4th with a 1-minute penalty for that double 80-mile-an-hour issue.
And sometimes when you know you've got a bunch of fast guys, it's worth that gamble, because if the gamble doesn't pay off, you still have the same points as you had. If it does pay off, you're going to get a few more points.
go boat racing. Here's who will be racing in Heat 1B, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Seafair thanks Home Street Bank, proud sponsor of the Home Street Bank Cup. Start of Heat 1B is in a few minutes away. Seafair reminds that for you and the safety around you, the friends around you, you must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 1B, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. We're here to call the race will be Brad Luce and Nate Brown.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. Looking at the clock, we are 3 minutes and 45 seconds to the start. 3:45, now 3:42. To the start of our Heat 1B, it is sponsored and presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Let's quickly take a look again at the boats in this heat. The U-98, the Graham Trucking American Dream, driven by Corey Peabody. It is red, white, and blue. And Corey, I know, came away from the dock. I see him. He's up at the top end of the race course, coming off of the floating bridge turn. Going to be joined in this one by the U-1918, the Oberto Super Salami, driven by Jeff Bernard. That's the boat that's right at the entrance pin of the corner right now. And on his right side, and right in his right side rear view mirror, U6, the Miss Home Street, Jimmy Shane. He's our top qualifier. And rounding out our four-boat field, the U-99.9 CarStar powered Miss Rock KISW with Brian Perkins coming across start-finish line right now. And the guy who is running around the pit area from one end to the other, Nate, you made it back.
I did, Brad. It's the stairs. I'm going to count them next time, but
there's two more the next time you go
yeah,
up.
This is great cardio for me. I tell you, my age is wonderful. Wore-out boat racer climbing stairs.
Your cardiologist will be very happy with you. Tomorrow morning, you'll be happy to see 5 more stairs on each flight. We're 2 minutes and 30 seconds to the start.
What do Elma, Jimmy, and Marcus have in common? They all grew their businesses with Fiverr freelancers. With Fiverr, it's easier than ever to find top talented freelancers for a wide variety of digital services. Join millions of business owners.
That looks like a 7 on there, but pretend it's a 2.
Yeah,
we thought we got a countdown
to
5 to the 5, and it was a countdown to 5. So we were a little tardy on our start. We had some mix-up on the official clock. But we're 2 minutes and 14 seconds away from the start. The situation is the same as before. Idea is to put your boat at the start-finish line with open water and a full head of steam right when the clock ticks 0. Don't get across that line too early. You get a 1-minute penalty. If you're a couple of seconds late or don't have boat speed, you're going to trail everybody into the first turn. And that's what these timing marks, Nate, are all about.
That's exactly right. These guys are out there jockeying right now. You saw Jeff he had to hit his mark, so he squirted right through in front of the other boat and went right around the corner.
Corey's going to have to go too, because they were going to get down here with a minute 30, and they're just not going to be able to scruff off that much time without dropping below 80 miles an hour. Now, here comes, yes.
They both got a warning too already. The 1918 and the 98 both got a warning. So they were probably going too slow coming down to try to hit that mark.
So they've got to be careful. That's great. Good call. They've got to be careful now and make sure they stay above 80 miles an hour. Should not be a problem from where they are right now, because there's a minute 15 to the start, and Jeff is just now coming across start-finish line. And entering the lower corner down here is Brian Perkins in the 99.9 as we come up on the 1-minute mark with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark. 1 minute. 1 minute to the start of our Heat 1B, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Up the backstretch, and he is sitting in lane number 1, Nate, is Brian Perkins in that brand new 99.9 CarStar powered Miss Rock.
He's a smidgy early. It's going to be tough for him to stay 80 and get a good squirt to the start. Jimmy, on the other hand, is really in a good spot right now.
Yeah, Jimmy's going to come up behind him. That's Jimmy Shane driving the powder blue and white Home Street Bank. The Miss Home Street, lane 3, is going to go to Jeff Bernard. We've got a warning on the 99.9. So now everybody's had a warning with the exception of Jimmy Shane, but I think they're in a position now. Of course, the 99.9 Perkins, he's got to be careful because he's getting deep into that corner, although the rest of the field is starting to catch up on him now. Coming up on 15 seconds to the start. It's about a 9-second run off of that top end of the race course to the start-finish line. So they are a little early. We are inside 10 seconds, and now we're up on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. And it looks like a clean start. And Jeff Bernard in the 1918 going to get down here first. The start is under review, which means the officials are going to take a look at it. On my watch and my angle, it looked pretty good. Jimmy Shane in lane number 1. Look how important that lane position is as Bernard took the lead into the corner. But that inside lane, Nate, paying dividends for Jimmy Shane.
The closer in, the less time pace around the course, but I didn't think it was a good start. It looked like a couple of guys were either right on it or a little bit over it, so it'll be interesting to see what they come back with.
All right, top end of the race course, we got a good two-boat duel. The two boats that are owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana are very close together at the top end of the race course. There's Shane, there's Bernard. It's the Oberto on the outside. Oberto Super Salami and Jeff Bernard trying to run down his buddy Jimmy Shane, and doing it on the outside is a tall, tall order, because it is Shane with about 3, maybe 4 boat lengths on Bernard to the entrance pin of the corner. All Jimmy Shane. Got a good race going out front. We've got a good race going for third place. Keep an eye on that one, Nate. You got a good boat race going.
I tell you what, I mean, Corey Peabody is doing great to stay up with the 99.9 like that. He's doing awesome, and so is Jeff Bernard. I'm really happy to see 2 teammates actually going deck to deck out there and pushing it. You wouldn't think that would normally happen, but I think these guys are teammates, but they're going for it on the course.
I think they are racing for 2 very separate and distinct sponsors, and the sponsor says go, and they are going. So we're at the top end of the race course on the second of 3 times around. Shane to the exit pin of the corner up there. Still got his right side rear view mirror full of Jeff Bernard. But look at this race coming for third. You talk about Peabody doing a good job. He's driving a great big race course. He's running about lap number 4 versus Perkins, who's on the inside and 1. Yet look at Mr. Peabody.
It's doing a great job staying in clean water, because it doesn't always mean inside. If he goes closer right now, he's going to get in the spray and get in the trough. But he's got to hold tight to that third lane right now to get this one.
You have much better eyes than I do, Nate Brown, because we've just got it official. They have come down with a ruling on the start. The 1918, which is Jeff Bernard in the Oberto Super Salami, and the U98 Corey Peabody, they both jumped the start. Yep. So they're going to get a 1-minute penalty. Wow, what that does for Mr. Perkins. He just now gets elevated up to second place. Clearly, Jeff Bernard got the message. He has pulled his foot. Perkins is going to go by him anyway, but here comes the winner of our Heat 1B, presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking, Jimmy Shane. Miss Homestreet will come home in first. Then Jeff Bernard's going to come across, but he's got a 1-minute penalty. Hidden in the spray on the inside is his good old friend, Brian Perkins, driving the CarStar powered Miss Rock. Fourth place will go to Corey Peabody in the Graham Trucking American Dream.
Here on the beach, we welcome you. The show's not over. We still have an air show to go this afternoon. My daughter's down there really waiting, exciting to see that. And that's your 5-minute gun. Now it's time to go boat racing. Here's who will be racing in Heat 2A, presented for Seafair by Anheuser-Busch. Seafair thanks Home Street Bank, proud sponsor of the Home Street Bank Cup. The start of Heat 2A is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safety of the ones around you, everyone must be out of the water. Here's the hydros on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 2A, presented for Seafair by Anheuser-Busch.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. It's Heat 2A, as you said, presented by Anheuser-Busch. Nate Brown, you have been here before when you wake up race day morning and you find you've drawn all the hot dogs together.
That's okay. You're driving across the bridge where I used to live. I drive across that floating bridge and look out at the race course and go, wow, this is really cool. And look at these guys right now. This start game has already started. These guys are already trying to figure out where the other guys are, what move they can make. See, Andrew just cut the course, and Jimmy's going around the course. So they're trying to separate themselves. You don't want to be next to the other boat. So Jimmy's doing his own deal. Andrew's doing his own deal. Corey's doing his own deal right now.
So is
J. Michael Kelly.
JMK at the top of the course. I thought it was interesting. They went up the backstretch, and Andrew Tate cut the course from the back to the front, came down, cut it again, just as he was doing in the test session. He was running that big circle out there. So looking at the clock, Nate, we're 3 minutes and 5 seconds away from the start. If you're going to win a heat with this kind of competition, it's going to require an inside lane. Now look at this. Here comes Jimmy Shane across the race course. The exact same thing that Tate did to him the last time around. And now Jimmy Shane has got himself inside Andrew Tate. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, but watch this. Andrew Tate's going to go behind him probably and cut the course again. There's plenty of time to do that. Let's see if he does it. And he is not going to do it. He's going to sneak up alongside.
Yeah, a lot of games still to be played, because you said those guys don't want to be close together. Well, now they're tied together, and they're coming right up on J. Michael Kelly at 2:30. 2:30 to the start. Now we'll see how they line up coming up the backstretch there. I believe JMK will sit in 1. And look how close. Oh, we're looking at a monitor here. I'm not sure they didn't touch. And what it looks like is happening, it looks like Tate is trying to pin Jimmy up against J. Michael Kelly and not give him a lane. And now look what's happened. It's exactly what happened. He was trying to pin him and not let Jimmy Shane come up between boats. That got close. You may have to run down there and see if we got a little paint that got swapped on that one, Nate.
Yeah, I don't know about paint, but right now that lane looked like it was taken away. From our vantage point, from my vantage point, that should have been an infraction. But whether or not it is or not, it'll be the officials' call.
So coming off the top end of the race course now with 1:43 until the start. The boat that I think that was clean and all that would have been the U-12. The Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing, and they're coming down with 1:30. I would expect nobody's going to cut the course now, because it's going to take them 1:30 to get all the way around this course and come back to start-finish line. So I think the lanes they're sitting in now are the ones that are going to stand. It is J. Michael Kelly sitting in lane 1. It is Andrew Tate sitting in 2. I'm going to assume Jimmy Shane will come up and assume lane number 3 with Corey Peabody on the outside. Timing marks critical. 1:10 at the entrance pin to this corner. That should be okay from a timing standpoint. Kelly in 1, Tate in 2, Shane in 3, Peabody on the outside, Nate 57 seconds.
They all made it. Good score up. Now they got to sit there and time their mark to get a fly-in start. Jimmy Shane's holding back a little bit just to get his marks correct, because the only way he can compete on this thing now is to have a fly-in start in lane 3. Those two boats inside of him are fast, and he's got to be that much faster in lane 3.
40 seconds until the start. Remember, fans, we go 3 times around this 2-mile Ted Jones race course. Come later this afternoon in the winner-take-all final, we'll go 5 times around. But right now it's 3, and we're inside 30 seconds. The boats are holding those lanes. Kelly in 1, Tate in 2, Shane is in 3, and on the outside, Corey Peabody. Now top end of the race course. It's about a 9-second run off the exit pin of that buoy down to start-finish line. They are a little. We're at 13-12, and they are coming off the corner. They will fan out. Now it's all about that timing mark. We are 6 and 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. It is a good start. And oh, did Jimmy Shane bring a lot of boat speed from lane 3, just exactly like you talked about, Nate. He's got a lot of boat speed, but he's on the outside. Shane has got the lead coming off the corner. Then is Kelly on the inside. Between boats is Andrew Tate in the Delta Reel Track. Delta Reel Track, Andrew Tate is running down a hallway, Nate.
There's paybacks are always what they call a bummer, because right now he's got overlap on Tate, and I guarantee you he is taking that lane, this corner. He's not going to come down on JMK, but he's going to come down on Tate.
Holy cow, is Jimmy Shane showing an awful lot of boat speed. He brought a ton of it to the start-finish line at the beginning of the heat, and there he starts to tighten it up on Andrew, just exactly what you said, Nate. I think the lane is still there, but right now it doesn't make any difference. Jimmy Shane is running away and hiding. He's got a rooster tail and maybe a half on JMK in second place. Tate is about a half to 3/4 of a rooster tail behind JMK, and he's going to have to run a pretty wide race course to get around Mike, but that's what he's going to try and do. Off the corner, Jimmy Shane is flying, Nate.
He's got a rocket on his hands right now. I know he's out there going, you know what? They put me in lane 3. I'm going to show them I can win from lane 3. So right now he's getting in their head again.
Yeah, this is what we had talked about earlier today. You want to talk about sending a message. Holy smoke, is he sending one now? I've got it, and I've got it on the outside, and I drove around all of you. Here we come off the top end of the race course. Jimmy Shane's going to come down in the U6, Miss Home Street. He looks to his right, looks to his left. He sees a white flag. That means one more lap to go. fly in the boat, but his radio guys are telling him now, just find some clean water and bring it home sunny side up because you got everybody covered. Second place, J. Michael Kelly, and he has opened up a little bit of water on Andrew. That's going to be a tall order for Andrew. Run away on the outside, Nate.
Still a great race, though. You look at the spacing between these boats between second and third, and if the lane position was switched the other way around, Andrew would be in front of JMK. And Corey Peabody, I'm really impressed with that team. These guys are on the same lap. He's running his own program. He's keeping it together, making a start, making a finish. At the same time, Jimmy Kane's rocketing through that corner, coming down for a checkered flag.
And I don't think Tate's going to have enough real estate, but he's closed up a little bit on JMK. Meanwhile, here comes our leader. Checkered flag flies. Jimmy Shane in the home street Bantham is home street.
White flag.
That looked checkered.
That was a checkered flag.
To me. He comes out way wide for a photo opportunity now. Here comes J. Michael Kelly. He had to keep the hammer down, make sure he kept Tate in the right side rear view mirror, which he did. Second place to the Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing. The third place boat, the Delta Reel Track U1, Andrew Tate, our winner. Apparent winner on the water, unofficial until they go through tech inspection. The U1, the Miss Home Street, Jimmy Shane out of Maple Valley, Washington. And here comes Corey Peabody, the young man out of Kent, driving the U98 Graham Trucking. He will come home in fourth place. Nate, 4 started, 4 finished.
That's awesome, and you know where I'm going to go right now before I forget.
You're going to go to the far end of the pit area and intercept one Jimmy Shane. I got to think you'll be pretty happy. And Nate, make sure you ask him. I'm sure Nate will talk to him about that little, it really looked like they bumped coming up the backstretch. So there was some shenanigans going on between those two, but that's how stiff the competition is going to be this weekend, and there is a lot more racing to come. A good one indeed, and we'll catch our breath.
That was a close race. That was a lot of fun to watch the J. Michael Kelly and Tate battle it out. But Jimmy Shane has already started this weekend with fastest qualifier, correct?
He did.
Fastest qualifier. He won his Heat 1B yesterday. Just won Heat 2A today. And I believe it was at Madison he had a perfect weekend. So we're hoping that he's on the roll for that. JMK won last weekend at Tri-City, so they're both going to be battling it out, trying to get the top podium finish for this weekend. So it's going to be fun to watch these guys battle out the rest of the weekend, but we have another great race coming up in Heat 2B. I'm excited to see the J&D's presents Diamond Tools out there with the CarStar presents KISW Rock. That's going to be a fun race to watch these two.
To the start of our Heat 2B. It's the 2019 Home Street Bank Cup. This particular heat presented by Cathay Pacific. Nate Brown, Bert Henderson, Jamie Nielsen, Perkins, and Jeff Bernard. Who do you like?
Boy, right now I like the little duel going on up here up the front stretch. These guys are really close together for scoring procedures.
You talk about a couple of guys who have known each other since they were knee-high to you and I. Jeff Bernard, who just cut the race course there, and that's Brian Perkins, going to come all the way down in the CarStar-powered Miss Rock. He will go to the bottom end of the race course. Jeff Bernard will cruise up the backstretch. Meanwhile, the predominantly red boat coming down the front straightaway here on the outside is Bert Henderson from Brockville, Ontario, Canada. And just behind him and to his left on the inside, Jamie Nielsen. And you know, I just love to say this, the Chartreuse of Carnival Orange, U11, J&D's presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. I say keep an eye on Mr. Nielsen in this one.
I think all these guys, you know, all these boats are so close together in qualifying speeds, so close together in testing speeds. This heat, of all the heats, get out of your chairs, come to the water's edge, watch this one. It's going to be a Donnybrook. It's a little bit slower than the guys we saw before, but the racing is going to be deck to deck and exciting.
That's 3 cuts in a row for Jeff Bernard. He's been on the outside of Brian Perkins, and then Brian got on the inside of him, and now he's reversed it. So Jeff's going to go back to the inside, keep Brian on the outside. Lots of stuff going on here, and still lots of time, Nate. 2:20 till the start.
Yeah, these guys down in the North Kern, they're almost in the right spot if they stay in that spot. The other guys are going to have to cut the course here, I think. Perkins should cut the course in here and try to grab an inside lane if he wants it.
I think you want to be down here at the entrance bit to this corner after 1 minute 10 seconds. Been watching these guys. The last heat, the guys got down here about 1 minute 5, and they all seem to have pretty good runs to the line. So if it plays out that way, if Jamie Nielsen can back it off here a little bit.
They should have been going slow coming off the exit pin, like I was saying, because right now he's too early.
Yeah, he's going to get down here. It's still 1 minute 40 until the start. See if they want to try it.
He can't go below 80. This is not a 5-liter. He can't park and start this thing. He's got to go 80.
And he can't cut it now, so to put a loop in. So see if he doesn't go, and there he goes. He's going way wide, just like he did yesterday, but he's going to take Bert with him because they're both in the same boat, no pun intended, but they've got to go way deep in the corner to try and knock off some time. You got to like it 1 minute 15 where Jeff and Brian sit. That's Jeff Bernard on the inside, the 1918, the Alberto Super Salami. And then it is the 99.9 Carstar powered Miss Rock with Brian Perkins right behind him. 1 minute, Nate.
1 minute right now.
Yeah, those guys are crawling going up the backstretch.
Yeah, I don't know how. Honestly, Jeff Bernard is sitting in a good spot. He's going to be able to get a flying start lane 3, and these guys are going to be just left with an anchor out.
Same thing that happened to them yesterday, and Jamie Nielsen went all the way up to the floating bridge. Now that's a pun because he can't go that far, but he went all the way up against the outside course markers to burn clock, and he's going to have to do it again. Coming up on 30 seconds until the start. These guys are going to have to get these marks squared away. You've got to like the positioning of Jeff Bernard in lane 1 from a lane standpoint, but you've also got to like it from a timing standpoint. They're still early though, Nate. It's just now inside 20 seconds. We're down to 15 to the start. Now they'll come off the top end of the course and square up and come down. In lane number 1, it's going to be Jeff Bernard. Then it's going to be Henderson in 2. Going to be Perkins in 3, and on the outside, Nielsen 2 seconds, 1 second, Mark. And we are racing here in our Heat 2B, presented by Cathay Pacific. The referee has said the start was good. So down in the lower corner, we'll see who gets in and out first. Got to get in and out clean. That's the first thing. First boat to turn the corner, Jeff Bernard, lane number 1, 1918. Alberto Specialty Meat Company, the Super Salami, has got the lead, but look at the speed on the outside. That is Nielsen that is on the outside. It is also Perkins. Nate, they are tightly bunched up the backstretch.
Oh, yeah, and Bert's driving in a hole right now. He's going to get to this corner. It's going to get really white.
Health and wellness creators can step up their impact and reach by starting their very own newsletter. With newsletter,
top end of the race course, and look at Jamie Nielsen on the outside in the 11. J&D's presented by Reliable Diamond Tool, and he's going to come down almost dead even with Jeff. Jeff flying the boat on the inside, but look at the speed we're seeing out of Jamie Nielsen. Really got that chartreuse at Carnival Oars. He actually, Nate, he's got the lead at the entrance bed.
He does. He's got to squeeze it down now to get it. He's got plenty of overlap on Perkins, so bring it on down, Jamie.
And there he is, and what happened to Jeff? He's going down. Jeff has lost power in the 1918, and he's going dead in the water, and oh my goodness, now it is all Jamie Nielsen. What a tough break for Jeff Bernard. In the 1918 Alberto Super Salami, he is dead in the water. Nate, it's one thing to not win the heat, but it's another to get no points when you don't finish.
Oh, and yesterday when he jumped the gun, now with no points this time. I mean, he's not in a good position right now for points. But look at Jamie Nielsen. He was rocking and rolling in lane 5. I know these guys are running a different engine. The fuel control started, and they're really happy. This is their strong motor with a real temperamental fuel control. So this was a good win for these guys, or so far. It's white flag lap right now.
He is on his final lap, and This is a team that struggled mightily in the Tri-Cities. They struggled here yesterday, and this has got to feel real good if he can bring it home. Oh, Scott and Shannon Rainey, they are crossing their fingers, their toes, and everything they got. Could he come home with 400 points here in our Heat 2B presented by Cathay Pacific?
And this would be the first heat win for this gentleman in an unlimited hydroplane. And it would also be the first win for this team, and really a great race for Jamie. I know he needs this, but look at Perkins. I mean, he's within virtually a tail and a half of this, and it's a brand new boat. I knew they had some issues with it too as well, and they're doing a great job.
This is awesome. I am so happy for that race team and for Jamie Nielsen. He comes down, checkered flag flies. U11 J&Ds presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. Nielsen with 400 points, second place. Brian Perkins in the 99.9. Carstar powered Miss Rock, a brand new boat a week ago on Friday. And a man from Canada, Brookville, Ontario, Canada, Bert Henderson, will come home third in the Boitano Homes. Gotta feel bad for Jeff Bernard, dead in the water in the lower corner, no points. There's somebody else I'm really happy for this weekend. It is Nate Brown, because you get to go down there and talk to a very happy Jamie Nielsen. That was my way of reminding you, Nate. You
forgot again. Yeah, I was just going to say that Bernard, you know, let's hope it's something they can fix easy. Because if it's something like a propeller or something like that, they're in a world of hurt.
Yeah, it is. And I don't see Jeff. He didn't move, did he? Did he just drift by? Oh, now I do. I see him. He's right at the exit pin. So Nate Brown is going to buckle up, put on some new hardware. Nate thought this was going to be a great cushy job. He could just come up here and sit down and put his feet up, call some boat race, and be good. Now we got him running all over the pit area. So, Kay Brewer.
Yes, Bradley Luce.
Three, two, one, mark.
That's your 5-minute gun. Now it's time to go boat racing. Here's who will be racing in Heat 3A, presented for Seafair by Alberto Specialty Heat Meats. Seafair thanks Home Street Bank, proud sponsor of the Home Street Bank Cup. The start of Heat 3A is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for your own safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water while the hydros are on the Ted Jones Racecourse. Now, it's time to get out on the water and enjoy the world's fastest hydroplanes. 3A, presented for Seafair by Alberto Specialty Meats.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. Looking at the clock, you're right on time. 4 minutes to the start of Heat 3A, presented to Seafair by Alberto Specialty Meats. We've gone down the list a couple of times. Let's do it again. Let's start with U1, Delta Real Track. The driver, Andrew Tate, the predominantly white boat. It is just coming off the exit buoy of the corner on the south end of the race course and starting up the backstretch. It is trimmed in fluorescent orange and yellow. And the driver, Andrew Tate from Walled Lake, Michigan. Entering the south turn right now, the predominantly blue boat, trimmed in white, the Miss Home Street. It is U6. It is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. The driver, Jimmy Shane from Maple Valley, Washington. He is about a third of the way up the backstretch. From Bonnie Lake, Washington, J. Michael Kelly. He will sit behind the wheel of the all-red U12. Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing. The all-red boat is trimmed in black and silver, and he is coming down the front straightaway. Just made a move to the left a little bit, I think, to get into lane one. It almost looked like he had a notion of cutting the race course, and that would have been an illegal maneuver from where he was, because you've got to cut the front to back down here at the lower end of the course. I doubt that was the case. He's going to come all the way down. Rounding out our field from Kent, Washington, Corey Peabody, driving the U98, the red, white, and blue Graham Trucking American Dream. That boat is red, white, and blue. Where's Corey? Corey's about halfway up the backstretch right now in front of the log boom. So Peabody, Kelly, Shane, and Tate. Here we go again, Nate. See if we can keep them from bumping each other this time.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. I don't see what's going on a whole lot here, except that Jimmy just kind of popped on the inside of Andrew and see what happens coming up here. Is he going to get taken away again?
Yeah, well, when he popped into that inside lane, the boat leaped out of the water on him. He had the nose about 5 or 6 feet out of the water, and now he's losing some power there. He might get a warning there. We'll monitor the radio. He dropped way down, Nate.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit like that before you get a warning, and he did just fine on that one. He's just getting a mark. The corners, so these skid fins leave. If you look out there, if you're on the beach here, see the white caps in the corners? Those are all created by the skid fins. So they're just huge. They're like 1.5 foot deep rollers.
1:42 until the start, so we'll look for these guys to come off the top end of the race course and come right down the front straightaway. I think we're seeing J. Michael Kelly do some of that back and forth that we've seen him do here last year, and a lot of the guys have been doing on the race course. Saw Andrew Tate doing a lot of it last week, just going from an inside lane to an outside lane just to scruff off time, because they're going to get down here at a minute 20.
Yeah, no shenanigans this time. They're all kind of settling in. And you're going to have Jimmy Shane in lane 1. You're going to have J. Michael Kelly in lane 2, Andrew Tate in lane 3, and Corey Peabody in lane 4.
Yep, and Andrew's going to hang back here. He is going to do as Kay Brewer was pointing out. He's going to try and hang behind everybody and get a rolling start to come down here to start-finish line, which will happen in 56 seconds. We're inside 1 minute to the start of Heat 3A, presented by Oberto Specialty Meats. So up the backstretch, once again, J. Michael Kelly driving the 12. The Graham Trucking presents Beacon Plumbing. He's in 1. Jimmy Shane in the Miss Home Street is in 2. It looks like Peabody is on the far outside, and Andrew is going to park in lane number 3 and have a lot of real estate to work with, Nate.
He's going to do the same thing. He's going to try to get a rolling start on the outside and do what Jimmy Shane did the first heat. So you can tell right now the other guys are just a smidgy early, and they're not going to be a full head of steam. And Andrew, unfortunately, kind of crept up there a little bit early, I think. He could have held back a little bit.
Driving around, Jimmy Shane would be a tall order.
Think your Callaway TaylorMade Titleist or whatever driver can outperform the PXG Black Ops?
Bring it.
Gained roughly 10 yards further, about 40 feet straighter.
He's got to get on it now.
15 seconds until the start. Now we're inside that. They square up and come down. It is Kelly in 1, Shane in 2, Tater in 3, and Peabody on the outside. We're 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mark. They are across the start-finish line. Jimmy Shane again's got the jump on the field. The start has been ruled good by the official. Now we'll see if he gets dividends. He being J. Michael Kelly on the inside. But it was a lot of boat speed in that powder blue Miss Home Street. And you see he's got about a 2-boat length lead on J. Michael Kelly. They get to the exit pin and start down the backstretch. This looks like a rerun of Heat 2A. Jimmy Shane just flying down the backstretch. He is driving away from JMK. And on the outside, buried in the rooster tail, is Andrew Tate. Nate, whoa, he looks really hot.
Wow, I tell you what, Jimmy Shane just took a really rough corner down there. I hope everything's okay. He lost some ground. The JMK is going to sneak up a little bit on the inside, but yeah, Jimmy Shane took a hop down there. He's flying that thing, though. Look at him coming up.
Coming down here to put one in the books. And Shane, yes, if he had a problem, he has got it figured back out. But now the race is going to be for second and third, because look at Andrew Tate on the far outside. Tate is going to pull up with a couple of boat lengths at JMK. Again, it's just like 2A, Nate, because Andrew's got to drive a huge race course where JMK's sitting in lane 1.
Yep, JMK's in some slop, and Andrew's going to be out in some smooth water. And if he hangs in there and finds a smooth lane out there fairly close to that roller, he's going to be able to beat JMK, but he's got to hold it in as tight as he can. There you look at him. He's pulling in front right now.
He just flew by him up the backstretch, but now they get up to the top end of the course. JMK is able to stay tight on the buoy row, but Andrew Tate's got better water, but he's on the far outside. Meanwhile, Jimmy Shane comes off the top end of the race course. He will come down. He will get the white flag, meaning 1 more to go. It's been a perfect weekend so far for Jimmy Shane, but look at our race for second place. Second place now clearly belongs to Andrew Tate in the U1, the Delta Reel track.
We got someone come apart on.
Yeah,
cowling is hanging up on his wing.
It is. The cowling has come off of the U12, and there's no cover over the engine. That's why it looks very low profile, but that cowling is hanging on the horizontal stabilizer.
He's got the inner cowling hanging on the horizontal stabilizer. All he's got to do is limp it around this corner. I know his crew is going, come on, hang in there. Do not lose that intermediate cowling, because you got to build another one if you don't have one.
So he can take it easy and come home in third place and take his 225 third place points, he will be in great shape to make it into the final. Meanwhile, our leader, and he has dominated this set of boats in 2 back-to-back heats in 2A, this time in 3A, presented by Oberto Specialty Meats. Jimmy Shane driving him his home streak, the U6, a dominant victory here, and he has sent a message. I can beat you guys on the outside. Give me an inside lane, I can handle that too. His timing marks are right on. And it's Andrew Tate. He comes down and will pick up a second place. JMK, exactly as our Nate Brown said, they want him to just limp it back, and that is what he is doing, and it looks like he's going to bring the parts back.
I don't know how he still has that cowling on there, but like you said, and you want to get the team wants that thing in there. You can see them anxiously out here on the dock waiting for J-Michael Kelly to bring it in. And it brings new meaning to this. Jimmy Shane won that heat, but boats were tearing apart trying to keep up with him, but J-Michael Kelly able to hold on to that. And you know what, though? I have a feeling there's going to be some serious damage on that, because see where that is sitting on the back of that turbine. It might have some severe damage to the 12, though, but I'm sure with the help of all the rest of his teams, all of the other teams out here on the course, they might have an extra one, or we'll be able to help. I would not put it past any of these other teams to jump onto that Graham Trucking trailer once this boat is up there to help get J-Michael Kelly out onto the course.
Well, it's like most forms of motorsports racing. You want to beat that guy, and you want to beat him pretty bad, but you want to beat him on the race course. You don't want to leave him here in the pit area. Our Nate Brown, who will know as well as anybody what the situation is there, I think, and we're going to let Nate go find out. I think it looks a whole lot worse than it is.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. When J-Michael came out of that cockpit, the first thing he did was look back and went, uh-oh.
Yeah, well, he was looking in his rear view mirror, and he thought, boy, a boat that looks... Three, four, time to go. H1 Unlimited Racing 2021 Apo Columbia Cup. Buckle up, guys. Here we go.
Can it be as good as the other classifications, the E350 and the GPs that we've seen so far today?
Yeah, they've got something to live up to here.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Look at these water conditions. Holy smoke, they're absolutely beautiful.
No wind across the Columbia River course right now.
Coming up on 4 minutes. 4 minutes to the start.
Up the Griggs back stretches, the Griggs, the 3 with Jimmy King. Behind him, Dave Bilwalk and the orange, black, and yellow Beacon Plumbing, the 40. On the outside, with a lot of boat speed in the Graham Trucking 12, Andrew Tate is going to overtake Bilwalk on the outside, heading into Shell Sun Market turn number 3.
A lot of time left, but the three was to the inside, and right now...
Yeah, Bilwalk has cut across the ASCO Electric infield to the front stretch.
Sounds kind of Bilwalk-esque.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, now see if he doesn't do it again on the lower end.
Now watch Miss Tri-Cities. J-Michael Kelly in the 8. Nope, he'll head up all the way around Shell Sun Market turn 3. Bilwalk is in 1 as we come down the front stretch. Jimmy King also wants that lane, apparently.
Yep, he's going all the way down, and Jimmy King is going to cut the course right here.
Yeah, King's going across 305. 305 to our start.
Andrew Tate still well outside, still kind of hanging out in lane 3, lane 4 area.
Stay right.
Will Miss Tri-Cities turn? No.
Nope. I don't think
Michael
he's
Kelly will
not turned up here. He's pretty far back, though.
He is, and he's way outside as he gets into Bunch Finnegan turn number 1.
244, 244.
On the Griggs backstretch, King. Bilwalk is going to cut through the Esco infield to the front stretch. Will J. Michael Kelly follow? No, he's going to continue up the backstretch. Looks like Andrew Tate's going to continue up the backstretch as well.
Guys, I've got some unofficial timing marks here that I keep an eye on. You don't want to be crossing start-finish line at 2 minutes. If you do, like Dave did, it's 2:15 right now. You're going to have to do something a little special here, or you're not going to be able to get around the course just once. So watch to see if anybody's crossing right at 2 minutes. I also watch the entrance buoy down here. You do not want to be here at
Jimmy King is
Here
crossing.
goes King. Now watch him with Bilwalk coming across.
This is going to be interesting. Bilwalk backs off.
Yeah, Jimmy King to the Griggs backstretch.
Bilwalk backed off. They were... There was going to be a meeting of the minds there that neither one of them wanted to be involved in.
Yeah, and we've seen that before with Tate and Shane in the last couple of years. They gotten tight up there. So here they come across one more time. Now you don't want to be down here at $1.30, and it's $1.33 right now. And here comes Andrew Tate. I think he's going to be in.
Bilwalk and Jimmy King both cut across the Esco infield to the front stretch.
Yep, and here comes Andrew Tate. He's going to claim lane number 1 in the 12 to Graham Trucking. It looks like Kelly wants to start this thing on the far outside. He's not even making a move to the inside. He's going to start wide.
Tate bounced and found some hope there down here in Tire Factory turn 2. But yeah, Tate's going to claim lane 1. J. Michael Kelly's decided he's going to try to win this from lane 5.
Wow. Well, he's scruffing off some speed. You know, he can do that and then pull back in when they get to start-finish and start the race.
Well, they're kind of getting lined up now. So Tate in 1, Bilwalk in 2, King in 3, and it looks like Michael Kelly be in lane 4.
And just for clarification on the rule, whatever lane you are in, when you enter turn 3, that's the lane you have to hold and bring to the start-finish line. Go ahead, Michael.
All right, so Dave Bilwalk back in lane number 2, just like the final in Madison. Will the boat handle better this time around?
Well, we talked about that earlier. If you're in lane 2, you do not want to be second across the line.
Watch that countdown. Andrew Tate, Graham Trucking, lane number 1. Dave Bilwalk, Beacon Flowing, lane number 2. Jimmy King in the Griggs U3 in lane 3, and on the outside, Miss Tri-Cities, J. Michael Kelly in the 8. Off the exit pin, turn number 4. 10 seconds to the start of Heat 1A. They're backing off the throttle.
3 seconds, 2, 1, mark.
It looked like it was just on time inside for Jimmy King. Dave Bilwalk in second place as they come down the front stretch.
Boy, you're coming 3 wide down here, but it is piston power from lane number 3. King's going to get down here first, but a lot of speed off to his left, Kevin.
Yeah, Dave Bilwalk closing the door quickly, and here comes Andrew Tate. They're going to go deck to deck into the Griggs backstretch, but it is the 3 that's got us about a couple boat lengths lead.
Dave Bilwalk's boat is handling extremely well through the bottom end of the course and up the backstretch, the Griggs backstretch. Griggs' boat is in the lead as they head up the backstretch, but Bilwalk is gaining on Jimmy King on the inside. And then in lane number 1, a nice run for Andrew Tate in the 12 as they get to Sun Pacific Energy Shell Sun Market turn number 3 and into Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. 3 boats deck to deck to deck. The start is under review. The start is under review. Jimmy King may have been early, not quite sure if the 12 was early as well. We'll find out. Dave Bilwalk is going to lead after lap number 1 coming down the front stretch.
Boy, but as he got company, you could throw a blanket across all 3 of them. King in lane number 3 still hanging right with him, but it is Tate and it is Bilwalk. Dead even at the entrance pin, Kevin.
Tate is...
Yeah, Kevin.
High on the air.
There we go.
There we go. Dave, and Bilwalk coming out of turn 2 with a lot of boat speed. Jimmy King following about a rooster tail behind them. But J. Michael Kelly well back and forth.
Jimmy King, 1-lap penalty, jumped the gun. The only boat that was not clean at the start. Jimmy King, a 1-lap penalty. The boat leaders, so the race leaders are out in front right now. Tate on the inside. Bilwalk on the outside as they get to turn number 3. Shell Sun Market turn 3, Buffalo Brothers turn 4. It looks like Tate's going to take the lead as they get to the exit pin of turn number 4 onto the front stretch. It is Tate on the inside with the lead in the Graham Trucking. Vilwalk on the outside, coming across start finish, and there's been some damage to the back fairing and the wing of Dave Vilwalk's boat, the Beacon Bluing.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wing. He doesn't have fairings. He also doesn't have the lead. He's about 3 lengths behind Andrew Tate, but it's still a good boat race out front.
Yeah, and the problem with not having those wings or fairings is you and that is exactly what happened to Dave Vilwalk down here, and Andrew Tate now out to about a 1 rooster tail lead.
Watch Kelly on the inside now.
Yep, J. Mike has moved to the inside in lane number 1 as they come up the backstretch. Jimmy King's still ahead of him, but Jimmy's got that 1-lap penalty. Back to the race leaders, Andrew Tate in the Graham Trucking into turn number 3. Checkered flag is out for Heat 1A, and it's going to be Andrew Tate coming off the exit pin of turn number 4 in first place. Dave Vilwalk has fallen back about a rooster tail now, and he's going to swing way outside wide at the Buffalo Brothers exit of turn number 4. The race winner, Andrew Tate, Graham Trucking, checkered flag is out. Second place for Dave Vilwalk, and they're going to have work to do on the rear fairing and wing. Third place, J. Michael Kelly. Miss Tri-Cities and Jimmy King with a penalty after jumping the gun of 1 lap. He will have to continue around and finish 1 more lap. He was too early at the start of Heat 1A. So working on the outside, I think the 8 with J. Michael Kelly found out something, and that is that won't work.
That you don't want to be on the outside. In fact, he's pretty much shut her down right now. Just kind of going in front of the fans down there, past the start-finish line, headed towards the pits. Now he picks it back up.
And the other question would be, where did the damage occur to Dave Vilwalk in the 40? One would imagine, Kevin, it was probably towards you and Tire Factory turn number 2.
Well, I can tell you that when I look down here,
It's the people over here. It's the family. It's everybody comes together. Everybody loves boat racing. They all pitch in. All the teams, if somebody's not having a good day, they'll pitch in. And you're right here where the action is, you know?
Yeah, and it sounds like somebody needs to pitch in a rear wing for Dave Vilwalk.
Yeah, I saw the damage. Great racing, but,
yeah,
you know, he's aggressive. He's never let off the throttle.
All right, Heat 1B getting underway. Jeff Winnie with Bosch Appliances. You'll find them at Bunch Finnegan, 90s Columbia Drive in Kennewick, and go to bunch.com. They're heading to Kevin, Tire Factory turn 2.
3 boats right by me now. The 11, the 1, the 9, all right next to me. The 440, they'll be the last off the dock. It's working its way towards me now as they head down to the Griggs backstretch.
3 minutes and 56 seconds, 3:55.
Well, where do you want to be, Brad?
Golly, where do I want to be? I want to be out front at the end of the 3rd lap. Going out on a limb on that one. You know, with this heat and the way it's set up and the way the qualifying played, I don't know how hard Jimmy wants to really go out there and fight for an inside lane. But to your point, Michael, Corey's got a fast boat. They put the right combination in it, and he'll have his hands full if he wants to try and drive around Corey. So, I don't know. I don't think and we say this every year, and it's the old line. You can't win the Columbia Cup today, but you can sure as heck lose it. So nobody wants to do anything stupid here. Go out and get a bunch of points.
Heading down the front stretch to Bunch Finnegan turn number 1 is the blue Home Street, the U1 with Jimmy Shane into turn number 1 now, followed by Corey Peabody in the 9, Pinnacle Peak Consulting. Then you have Jamie Nielsen in the bright J&D's 11. And just into Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, the 440 Bucket List Racing with Dustin Eccles onto the front stretch.
250.
The 11 is cutting across the course right now.
And Jimmy's going to go in front of him. He's going to come out of the corner in front of Corey Peabody. Jamie Nielsen in the 11.
So Nielsen will settle in on the Griggs backstretch over by the home street. Peabody will pass him up the backstretch. Oh, look at Dustin Eccles will go across the Esco Electric infield now to the backside.
I forgot about Dustin. Keep an eye on Dustin. He'll probably put that thing on the far outside. 220 to the start.
Yeah.
That's what Dustin generally does when he's out here, is he'll just kind of stay out of everybody's way.
For now, you've got the one on the inside.
And they're going to go all the way around the race course. You watch. I don't think you're going to see anybody cut where they are right now at 2 minutes.
Yeah,
2 minutes.
It'd be too early to cut front to back, wouldn't it?
I think it would. I think they're in really good shape. Right now, they can squirt it a little bit and come down here and give us the lanes they're in right now, Michael, as they come by.
Well, lane number 1, you've got Jimmy Shane. Jamie Nielsen is probably in lane number 3. I mean, he's technically going to slide over and be in 2, but he's pretty far outside. And then in lane number 4, we'll call it, is Peabody in the 9. Eccles, lane 5, way outside as they come down the front stretch. There's just a lot of room right now. And it looks like they're kind of tightening the field up as they head down the front stretch to Bunch Finnegan turn 1.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a pretty quick start here because it's 1:20 until the start. You don't want to be here at 1:30. Well, they're down here at about 1:12. And Dustin Eccles in the 440 on the far outside is caught up with everybody. Shane in 1, Nielsen in 2, Peabody in 3, and on the far outside, Dustin Eccles.
Jamie Nielsen's getting caught right into the wash of Jimmy Shane, though.
1 minute.
Jimmy Shane was, I'm not sure what Jamie trying to do there. Nielsen was down below and getting into lane 1, getting caught in that wash. So
They'd been quite a ways outside on the front stretch, but lost some real estate heading through Tire Factory turn number 2 to the Griggs backstretch.
40 seconds. 40.
Jimmy Shane in the home street, lane number 1 for the 1. The 11, Jamie Nielsen, J&D's lane number 2. Corey Peabody in the 9, Pinnacle Peak Consulting, lane number 3. On the outside in the 440 Bucket List Racing, Dustin Eccles. Shane on the inside. Countdown to the start of Heat 1B. 20 seconds to start at the apex of turn number 3 into turn number 4 for Buffalo Brothers at the exit pin.
10 seconds.
Nielsen, Peabody, Eccles. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
3 seconds. 2, 1. Mark.
I don't know if Peabody was early, but he's leading the pack down the front stretch into Bunch Finnegan turn number 1 in lane number 3.
Yeah, it's Corey Peabody with a lot of speed on the outside. We'll check on the start and see if he was legal. But, boy, you want to talk about having a whole lot of speed off to your left. He's got Nielsen and Shane off to his left.
Shane just closed down the distance just in a heartbeat there. So Jimmy Shane on the inside, still in second place, but reeling it.
Officially, our start is under review as Corey Peabody leads by a half a rooster tail coming up the back stretch. Dustin Eccles is falling back in 4th place in the 440 Bucket List. Watch Jimmy Shane, top end of the course. He's probably going to take the lead away from Corey Peabody. Shane on the inside, shorter track around. As they get to the apex and head over to Buffalo Brothers turn number 4, it's going to be Shane in the lead as Peabody pushed a little farther out wide, lost some boat speed. Nielsen is in 3rd place at the exit pin now. Across the start-finish line, it's going to be Jimmy Shane, your race leader. 153.557 miles per hour for Jimmy Shane, lap number 1.
Coming down here to the lower end of the race course, we are on lap number 2 of 3. It is Jimmy Shane. Got pretty much a full rooster tail on Corey Peabody, but Corey Peabody is having to run way on the outside. Kevin, keep an eye on him. He can't move over because Nielsen is still in there.
Yeah, he can't drop down to get down next to Jimmy Shane, so he's going to have to kind of keep it out in lane 3. He's keeping pace, though, for the most part. He's just about a rooster tail back. Jamie Nielsen rolling up in 3rd.
Yeah, Nielsen in 3rd place on the Griggs Ace Hardware backstretch as Jimmy Shane starts to pull away a little bit from Corey Peabody. And again, with lane number 1 position, he should have an easy time maintaining or extending the lead after going into Shell Sun Market turn 3 and Buffalo Brothers turn number 4. Race leader is the 1, Jimmy Shane in the home street. Pretty good corner up top, though, for Corey Peabody, and it looks like Peabody is kind of moved in a little bit because of the overlap now. Nielsen has fallen off the pace just onto the front stretch. Lap number 2 for Jimmy Shane, a 143.763 miles per hour.
Watch and see if Shane doesn't pull it away here. He dropped from 151 down to 143, and that allowed Corey Peabody to close the distance, but Corey's still right with him.
Yeah, we still wait to hear the word on Corey Peabody.
It's a one-lap penalty.
One-lap penalty, okay.
He jumped the start.
So Jimmy Shane now knows that, I am sure. So Corey Peabody, as much as he's going to go neck to neck with this, it's unfortunately not for first place.
So up the backstretch, Jimmy Shane in the one, the home street, ready to dive into Shell Sun Market turn number 3 at the top end of the course. Peabody on the outside. He hasn't backed off the throttle one bit coming up the backstretch and into turn number 3. At the exit pin of turn number 4 from Buffalo Brothers onto the front stretch, Jimmy Shane, the home street. Corey Peabody did not back off at all. Amazing run as they come to the start-finish line. Checkered flag is out. And Jimmy Shane is going to take the victory. Peabody's got to take one more lap around. So Jamie Nielsen will get second-place points in the J&Ds.
He gets a big win out of this, coming in with 300 points there in second place. Good run for Jamie Nielsen.
And Dustin Eccles, Brad, good for third place in the bucket list.
That's 225 big points, and all of a sudden, Corey Peabody comes home with a 169, assuming he finishes this extra lap. So there's a lot to be said about driving legal. You can have the fastest boat in the planet. I say it all the time, but it's got to be legal. I still like Jamie Nielsen in this U11, the J&Ds.